great thing about this Beetlejuice is the story is stronger, if you ask me, and he trusted the story, and I'm obviously, you know, not only integral. I kind of drive, but I kind of don't drive. Actually, Jenna drives it, and Catherine, and Winona. Actually, I don't drive at all, now that I think about it. But it works better somehow. I can't quite explain it, except the story is stronger, and you love the whole experience, and he's just a fun thing in it. Whereas maybe in the first one, it may have been, we can't wait till he comes on again, you know.
I think we all knew the only way that it could work was if Tim was directing, not just producing, or, you know, and Michael and Catherine were in it and, you know, were available to do it. The script was great. Tim was, you know, there was like a confidence. Like, we didn't feel like everyone was looking over our shoulders and like the studio was, you know, like we felt like we were kind of left to do this. And so it was a really beautiful, creative, you know, creative chaos, which is just a wonderful place to be.
Can't you see him concentrating here?
It's got the same great, loose, fun vibe that the first movie had. And that comes from the top. You know, Tim and his great producers who let him do what he does best.
For me, then you start to use your own life experience. What, you know, you start out, you know, you're an interesting teenager. What happens to you when you become an adult? Do you have children? What are your relationships like? What have you become, you know? And so it was quite emotional for me to kind of revisit those characters, and because, you know, things happen to all of us as we get older, change, relationships, children, whatever. And so that was the sort of the nucleus of it for me that got me back interested in it. What happened to the Dietz family?
Collaborating with Tim for the second time now, I think it's pretty similar to the first time in terms of he just trusts you. Whoever he casts, you know, you're allowed to make awful decisions and you're allowed to make funny decisions, and you're allowed to, he just kind of encourages you to do what you want, and he'll always guide you in the right direction. I do feel with this one, he's been a little bit more particular about the way certain things go, but it usually is physicality or pacing of things, or maybe when you exit, just walk a little bit slower. He has like I don't know, he's very obviously excited, and I feel he's been really, really, especially creative this time around.
He's clearly got an incredible visual style, you know. Everything, even the sets, are just so specific. So you obviously see his thumbprints sort of smeared all over everything, you know. So it's been really fun. I really, and it's also been kind of a great job because I sort of had the time to sort of just be watching it happen and then being in it. It's not, you know, I don't have the weight of the movie on my shoulders like the same way that Michael does. Yeah, it's been great. Like, he's an incredibly memorable director to work with.
And Michael was so kind. He has an amazing energy, and it was beautiful to see the creative connection between Tim and Michael through the years. And I have to say also that I'm so honored to be part of this amazing cast and to enter into Tim's fantastic and magical world. His vision is so personal, so unique, and his characters are often naive. They have naive and childlike qualities. And even the villains are, most of the time, unintentionally disruptive. And there is so much substance for an actor in his fairy tales.
Tim was and is so clear about what he wants and so creative, and you can tell he is seeing it all. He is seeing it all. He's just trying to express to us this amazing vision that he has. And he does express, but he expresses as much as he needs to. But you can just tell there's so much going on in his mind. And it's really just inspiring to work around somebody who is that creative and has that much creative thought going on. And, you know, he's so inventive and he's so excited about what he's doing. It's great to see him as happy on this set as he was on the original.
No! Julia, what's wrong? Oh, I'm trying to capture the perfect primal scream. I'm going to blow it up, mount it on the wall, and I invite all of you to do the same.
Well, I was praying they would be back in it, especially Catherine. But I I was hoping, she and you really needed Winona, and her, so to have them back was really fun. And then Justin is so funny in this thing. But Winona is the sweetest, and she just fit right back in. And Jenna, man, she just got the tone. She said, "Okay, I know." She knew exactly what the tone was. She didn't try to do something different or go off in a direction that didn't fit. She just got it, And Catherine's a pal of mine. She and I've worked. This is our third time together, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So I watched the original a couple of times when I first got out here to London. All I know is I didn't want to feel like I was trying to do an impression, because I think people hear Lydia Deetz is, teenage daughter and think that it's going to be the same person. And they're actually very different. And it's important to me that people don't think that I'm trying to be Lydia in any way. So I wasn't looking for anything that I could pull or, no, I just really tonally, because there's so much going on in the film and it's a family movie, but then it's really dark and depressing at times. I didn't want to, tonally, I just wanted to figure out what I was doing a little bit. And I think it's a little different on this one even.
Jenna coming on was a huge gift, and a huge help. And I mean, she just blows me away. She is an incredible person. I felt a lot like I was seeing a younger version of myself, only like she's 100 times cooler.
Well, she's great. I mean, I love Jenna, and she, I just have a connection with her, and she's just, I'm always impressed. I was impressed on Wednesday. I was impressed on what she can do. And she just brings another perspective to it. She's in the world, but it's a very crucial role because it's like kind of commenting on the whole thing as well. So she really brings a gravity to it and fits right in and adds more to it, which is extremely important.
You always get scared when someone does something that's a spin-off or a sequel or a prequel or something connected with a material from so long ago. But it was cool that they had a lot of the original people involved, and I thought it was a fun and clever way to revisit the material. And then, of course, the additions of like Jenna and myself and some other people. I thought this is good. This is alive. This is a good revisiting of the material.
When you have a good script, then, it just gives you ideas. When something's not well written, it just closes your brain down. But when something's well written, and there are great inspiring ideas in there, then yeah, it makes you want to try things.
This movie is like a museum of Tim's mind. Tim is very specific, and he's also really open. And that's what's so beautiful about him, is that he can be incredibly detailed and remain so open to ideas or ways to play a scene. And what are you thinking? And what are you, like? It's just you actually do feel like you're collaborating. On this one, I saw how much he related to Lydia, which I found really moving. I don't know if I knew that on the first one. But I saw that on this one, which it made me like emotional. It still makes me emotional.
That was a character, Lydia, that just spoke to me. And that's why all these years later, it's like, okay, I was that character. What happened to me? What happened to her? Where did you go right? Where did you go wrong? What happens in life as you get old? All that sort of thing. So that was, I think that was the thing that really was the thing that hooked me emotionally back into it.
I think Delia sees Astrid as a fresh new Lydia. And, just kind of dry and dark and, looking around like the world isn't near as cool as she is. But she is. I think we have found, Jen and I have found fun ways to connect. Definitely on Lydia's relationship with Rory. I think we both see the reality of that. We're kind of letting her be, letting Lydia find her way, but we've connected on that definitely. And I think, because I think this too, I think Lydia finds her funny too and entertaining. In a way, it's entertaining to watch Lydia take the same crap from Astrid that I took from Lydia. So maybe it's just me, but I think Lydia finds her very entertaining. She's such a cool girl, Jenna.
Is that Beetlejuice?
Filming anything with Keaton is astounding. I mean, first of all, just seeing him in the makeup for the first time is pretty impressive because you just go, it doesn't look like, obviously he's aged a second. The makeup, when you look at it, is so lo-fi in a way, like it's just sort of dark eyes, like white face. It's like it's part clown, part dead person, I guess. So just being opposite it and then hearing him do that voice is just thrilling. Like you just kind of go, I'm now in this Beetlejuice movie. And I don't know, there's just, I'm not too old to not be completely tickled by that. And just watching his process, he's very specific. So he'll sort of, between takes, he'll sort of be running the scene in his head, sort of stood still, going like, okay, no. He sort of mumbles these lines and then sort of action, and then he just sort of animates. And it's an incredibly high, as the first one was, it's an incredibly high energy performance where it's just sort of the schizophrenic quick cut kind of thing. So any scene with him was fabulous, like to watch, him work. Yeah, I did have that sort of couple of those pinch me moments, just watching him do his thing.
Working with Michael, it's the first time I've ever seen an actor completely transform once the camera started rolling. He's so funny, really, really creative, but also just a really nice guy. Really nice guy, always made sure that everyone, felt included and took his time introducing himself to everybody and was so professional, always asked if things were okay or what works best for, and he was really open dialogue about the scenes or whatever.
I think Beetlejuice is a completely unique character, unlike anything anyone's ever done. I mean, it's so singular, and Michael is such a brilliant actor, and he's so funny, and he's so incredibly smart too. The creativity that it took to come up with that character, which I think is a collaboration of Tim and Michael, but it really speaks to both of their genius.
He's got such an energy and such an interesting take. So it's kind of like working with a prize fighter. So it's like, okay, let's try to do this and that. But he's just very clever, and he's very funny, and he's very good. So it's like you get something back when you work with people like him, or all these people, everybody. It's like they're not just they're giving back something, and there's a back and forth, which is very exciting to work with.
This is a hard thing to write because a lot of it was just created by E&I and Catherine and the cast and people. Really, a lot of it was and still like that. So to say, oh yeah, go write a sequel, even the first one was well written, but it was then taken and then made into what it was and what it became, right? So to do that again is really hard, and we had seen over the years script here and there, and they weren't terrible, but they didn't get it. And the truth is, nobody can really write it perfectly, because it gets made when we start shooting it, and beforehand, and certainly in pre-production with Tim, when he's working on it before anyone even shows up, or the actors anyway. So you know, it's hard to explain, you know, how it comes together. It's really, really difficult to explain, actually. It's a unique creation.
Having been through the first one and like the effect that it had, and you know, there was pressure in coming back to it, but there was also like this, like I was talking about, this like complete trust you have because it's Tim, but also, you know you're going into something really, really brilliant and really special.
Well, Nona and I were all like, we held on to each other walking onto the house set, you know, because too, my husband designed the original, and this production designer has said, was very aware of that. He came and talked to me about it, and you know, he was respectful of Beau's work, but he's doing amazing sets on this. Really, really, art department's doing a beautiful, beautiful job.
There's definitely been a lot of moments on this set where it hasn't felt real, or I've done this is the coolest thing I'll ever be a part of. I think Winter River is one of those places where you see it, and I think the town also naturally just looks cartoonish and, you know, unbelievable. But I loved this movie. I still love this movie. It's been one of my favorites of Tim's as well, just for forever. So I think that it's all just a very surreal experience, especially that town.
I feel very confident that it will match and exceed expectations. It certainly did mine, and mine are way up there. It's just a great time, and I think it absolutely deserves to be seen on a big screen for fans of Tim's work, certainly, and I kind of just think it's got something for everyone.